everyone. Matthew DeSantis here with NYRA Bets, along with my colleague Kaylie Shapiro. We're here at Del Mar in the auxiliary press tent up on the roof of where the turf meets the surf. And we had a great day here at Del Mar. We got a lot of steps in. We're going to talk about that later.
20,000. 20,000. I think I've seen every barn on the Del Mar backstretch. Not complaining, though.
I think we might have. We saw a lot of great horses, saw a lot of people during that time. So looking forward to chatting with you on this live stream. We're going to be going over some races, and we're going to be excited for to talk about some of the horses that we saw today, some of the races tomorrow and Saturday. But Kaylie, first of all, this is your first time at Del Mar and your first time covering the Breeders' Cup professionally in terms of, for NYRA Bets. What were your impressions of Del Mar today, just walking around the track?
It was a really cool vibe, Del Mar.
Yeah,
I mean, I always heard it was beautiful. I always heard that it was a nice racetrack in general, and the buildings are beautiful. The backside is certainly really entertaining to walk through, especially during Breeders' Cup. And today it was cool to see regular races going on, obviously on a Thursday before the Breeders' Cup kicks off. But yeah, we had the opportunity to see so many horses out today that are racing this weekend. And I can't lie, Matthew. I mean, I really was obviously all in on Sovereignty leading up to the Classic. And then Sierra Leone's my second pick. I was going to automatically scratch into him, and I still think he's going to be a major player. But I literally have not made a decision yet ever since Sovereignty scratched. I've been really sitting on it and thinking about every which way that this race could play out, and obviously going to make the decision before we do capping the card tonight.
Yeah, which we're doing in a few hours. So
it's going to be one of two horses, but it was complete 180 from how I was thinking in the beginning, which is crazy. Yeah,
it is. I mean, listen, we did our Breeders' Cup preview a couple of days ago, obviously before the news that Sovereignty scratched, before we even knew he had a fever. And that obviously does change the complexion of the race a great deal. We'll talk about that a little bit today. But yeah, it was great to just be around the backside. We got to see Iron Orchard, who won the Frizette up in New York. And that's been a productive race here in years past with Just FYI, with Echo Zulu going on to win here in the juvenile fillies. So, New York bred there. And not the only New York bred. Will Walden's got Rhetorical in the turf as well. That's a nice horse as well. I like that. So excited for some New York breds. And and excited for what all of you are most excited about. Let us know in the chat. Let us know in the comments what horses, what races are you most excited about? Do you have a long shot that you're really playing? Love to hear from you all. And while you're here, make sure to press that like button and subscribe if you're watching on NYRA Bets YouTube, because we got a load of great content. Kaylie and I recorded Capping the Card for Friday already. And we're going to be doing one for Saturday as well, covering every single Breeders' Cup race.
Cannot wait to record that tonight. And definitely leave comments and let us know who you guys are looking forward to seeing. And maybe we saw one of them today, either in the barn or, you know, stretching their legs out on the track. But I will say Iron Orchard looks immaculate coming into this race. She's really impressive. We spent a lot of time around her. I think we spent like 45 minutes around her, judging her behavior. I mean, just as we were there, and she looks amazing, and she has a really good head on her shoulders. That's for sure. I always love when I look at 2-year-olds on the backside coming to an event like the Breeders' Cup, and when things happen, they have minimal reaction. I mean, you're really looking forward to that. Not someone that's asleep or lazy, but no one that gets riled up or startled by any commotion. And she really fits that for me. And she looks amazing physically, and she's developed beautifully.
She has, and she's real nice filly. And another horse, when you said a good head on your shoulders, another horse that has a pretty head as well. We saw just hanging out in the backside of Del Mar, which is Baeza. Who was just like completely by himself in barn M, just in the middle of nowhere. I think that's what M stands for, middle of nowhere. It doesn't stand for Matthew, that's for sure. But it was, he's such a nice horse, and he's progressed so nicely, and now he's got his grade 1, and so it's great to see him. But Julie Robb asked the question, when did we learn about Sovereignty? And it's funny, you and I were on a flight together out here when we learned the news. And so we were kind of like stuck. We couldn't really do much of anything about it in terms of doing stuff for social media or YouTube. And it was frustrating.
We were literally caught on the runway for 2 hours when we got here. And, but I slept on the race. I really slept on it. I've been thinking about it all day. Honestly, how I'm coping with the news. I mean, it's really, I know. I love Sovereignty.
Yeah,
I was really
yeah.
looking forward to seeing him, as was everyone else, including his trainer and his connections. And it's horse racing. This stuff happens, and it's a real shame. But I'm really glad that obviously the horse is going to be okay. They're doing right by the horse, and it is what it is. But the way I'm coping is honestly pretending that he was never supposed to race. That's how I'm coping.
Well, that's a good way to cope. And it's interesting. Donna T here says Arginine. It's a horse in the Turf Mile, and we actually got a chance to talk to Mitsumasa Nakashita. And I did a little bit of an interview with him, and she is doing very well. He said she definitely likes the track, has traveled very well. He was very bullish on her chances, and she's got Frankie Dettori up, and she's beaten the boys twice before. She's 20-1 on the morning line. She's a little interesting at the very least.
She is interesting, and Matthew had asked Mitsu, what's your ideal trip for your mare running up against the boys, tough competition? And he was like, listen, I have Frankie Dettori riding, and he knows how to win races. So hopefully he can work out a nice trip. But she's training really well leading up to it, he was saying. And we'll have that posted later today as well.
And obviously Forever Young, you got a chance to see him up close and in person. You had not seen him before. Very professional demeanor this morning in the paddock.
Oh yeah, he was super professional. I love how he leads like you could tell it he's going. I love that. He's a really cool horse. He's smart. He's very observant. He was so cool to watch and just observe for a little bit. And I can't lie, I was expecting him to be a little bigger than he was. But he's beautifully balanced, and it's not a knock on him whatsoever. I just maybe thought he was bigger.
You had even said it, a little bit like fierceness, in terms of not being the biggest horse in the world. When you see Sierra Leone, he's a big horse. You see Sovereignty even in journalism, these are big horses. And Forever Young's never been like that. I will say he is bigger than he was last year when he came over. Because I saw him last year. He is definitely bigger than he was. He's bigger than he was last year. I know he put on some weight before that effort at Funabashi. I think he weighed in at 1,200 pounds, I want to say, which is up a little bit from where he was, but even for the Saudi Cup. So
he's beautiful.
He's a beautiful horse. Any journalism sites? We actually did. We walked right past journalism on Michael McCarthy's barn today. Our friend Ryan Anderson pointed him out to us.
Oh, yes, we did.
So did get to see him, and so it was very cool. But listen, let's talk a little bit about the Classic, because obviously with the scratch of Sovereignty, you mentioned, hey, it really has changed things. I did kind of I had Mindframe in my second position, and I'm just elevating him. David Aragona redid the morning line odds for Sovereignty being out. Mindframe 6-1. I had a chance to talk to Mike Rapoli today. We had a chance to talk to a lot of people today.
Definitely. We could see someone is agreeing with you in the comments.
Yeah, I know. Carlos Warren saying, he sees Mindframe now too. So Carlos, let's hope you and I are on the right horse together. And, Mike said fierceness went out, just floated over the track, very easy, very casual. And he goes, Mindframe was pulling as a rider. I mean, he really wanted to go. And if you think about it, it makes sense because he didn't get a chance to run in the Jockey Club Gold Cup, really.
Great point.
So he's been pent up since the Stephen Foster. I mean, this horse wants to run. And I joked with somebody on the backside. I said, either he's going to run his race in the paddock or he's going to run 1 3/4 on Saturday. We'll see. But I mean, it's such a wide open race now with Sovereignty out of it. I think you really could make an argument for a lot of different dynamics, and even talking to different people, how they see the pace situation playing out with contrary thinking, what role he plays, what trip does Fierceness get, how does that impact things, what fractions do they go to the half-mile mark? A lot of questions.
And I was really happy to hear, I mean, and by people, we mean trainers. Like, for example, lots of trainers that I feel comfortable with. I've asked the question, how do you see the pace playing out? The best thing to do is to ask people that know a bit more than you. And a lot of situations, that's what I tend to do. And a lot of the comments or responses that we got were that people see a decent pace, which is what I saw in the paper. So I was pretty glad to hear legit trainers confirm that's how they see the race without even having a horse in it. So it was also cool to hear from trainers that don't have horses in the race.
Right. They don't have a dog
in the past. Exactly. It's interesting.
For sure. And Julie and you might be sharing a little bit of a mind, because Julie really likes the long shot in Nevada Beach. And this is a horse that you really touted early on in the process. You had a chance to talk to Bob Bavert. We're talking about doing interviews. You had a chance to talk to Bobby B. I mean, I didn't know as our friend Nick Zito would call it Bobby B. Yes. But we don't call him that. But no, you had a chance to talk to Bob, and And Nevada Beach is a horse that's really kind of sprung up out of nowhere and looks so good beating older horses, not just any older horses, horse like Full Serrano in the Goodwood.
And Bob is a very realistic guy. When you
Yeah.
ask him a question, he's really going to give you the answer. And honestly, what he said was the horse has been. There was a point though that he said something when we weren't interviewing him to someone else.
Oh, and I think I was talking to Michelle.
Yes, that he was originally planning on sending this horse to the Travers. That's what I had heard today. He was originally planning on sending the horse to the Travers.
PA Derby.
And then to the PA Derby.
Yeah.
That was interesting. And they decided to keep him here and obviously qualified for the Breeders' Cup. And he knows that the competition's really deep, obviously. And he's saying, you know, that was our fear bringing Nevada Beach over for the Travers was Sovereignty. He was like, I don't want to run against Sovereignty. He said at that point. And then the horse is doing really well, obviously beat Older Company last time, and he wouldn't have him in there if he had literally no shot. But I'm not saying that I think he can win the race, but I just think that he's a horse that can very well run up into a super or a try at 20, 25 to 1. I mean, he did it last year with Newgate. And same logic there that I used. Obviously, he was a bit older and more experienced, but you know, I'm not comparing Nevada Beach to Arrogate by any means, right?
Right.
But Bob Baffert does a pretty good job training young or lightly raced horses up into big spots like this. So I think there's a good chance he shows up.
Yeah, as Bob said, hey, I just want him to be in it at the top of the stretch because it's a lot more fun when I have a horse, you know, in competitive in the top of the stretch. And what do you say if not?
I'll just go get a hot dog.
Just go get a hot dog. It was a great line. But no, I mean, listen, Bob is also, I'm not saying he's a sandbagger, but all these trainers are also, you know, they don't want to show all their cards. I mean, there's been a lot of times where Bob will say, you know, we'll see how they run. And then the horse runs a hole in the wind. I mean, and then afterwards he goes, he was training really well. We had a feeling this might be the case, you know.
This could be the case. I mean, I didn't see him in person today, but I did see videos of the way that this horse has been moving over the track, and he looks beautiful.
Yeah,
I mean, he's skipping over the track. Everyone's like commenting, journalism, what a pretty mover. He is a beautiful mover. There's some others in here. I mean, look at that horse trot on the track. He's just about the same.
No, absolutely.
It's interesting.
Absolutely. So first, I just want to say thank you to Robert T for watching the interview we did with Mike Rapoli. Make sure to check out the interview Kaylie did with Bob Baffert. You got another one coming up with Danny Gargan that we're going to be posting. I got the interview with Mitsu about Argene. So a lot of great stuff here on NYRA Bets. Yeah, lots more coming. Tomorrow we got lots of picks. We got some of our analysts at NYRA who are going to be giving out some picks for some of the different races. So a lot of fun.
And the Brooks Smith who owns
we got
part
Brooks.
of Sierra Leone. And I thought it was really interesting. So we interviewed obviously a bunch of trainers, but Matthew interviewed one owner and I interviewed one owner, and both of them have horses that are done after the Breeders' Cup. Obviously, Breeders' Cup Classic is going to be their last race. Fierceness and Sierra Leone, and both of them, you know, got a little emotional thinking about it. And I just thought for a second, like, what a journey, even just watching those two horses, Fierceness and Sierra Leone. I loved watching them go at it for the last 2 years. And I honestly slept on the race, and I think there's a pretty good shot that those two run 1-2. Yeah,
it could be, same song, second verse with last year. With those two being the top two. Got to give a shout out to my guy Lee Bennett, joining in from Augusta, Georgia. Lee, we're going to Mountain Dew or coffee tomorrow. I don't know. There might be a curfew on, or like some sort of I don't know if there's some sort of a seizure of Mountain Dew in California. I can't find it. I got Coke Zero though. Right now we're going water.
Really?
I can't find Mountain Dew. I can't find Diet Mountain Dew anywhere. I need Diet Mountain Dew.
Well, that's a problem for you.
It's a huge problem for me. Lee knows that. He lived with me for 3 years. And so, you know, it's an issue. And so coffee, no coffee. We're going straight Diet Mountain Dew. That's for sure. But Lee, I appreciate you tuning in. Always appreciate that. But listen, it is going to be a lot of fun tomorrow and Saturday, but let's start by talking about some of the races tomorrow. And that's what we'll do here. We'll take some questions, but we'll also kind of go through and preview some of these races for Friday. Again, we have much more in-depth analysis up on Captain the Card right now. And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to press that like button and subscribe to NYRA Bets YouTube today if you haven't already. And oh, by the way, if you use the promo code LIVE25, right now, you will actually be able to get a $25 bet on NYRA Bets and up to a $200 deposit match bonus. If you're not playing with NYRA Bets yet, use the promo code LIVE25. But Kaylie, I'm going to let you kick things off a little bit here while I get some stuff on the technical side of things ready.
And I will just tell you guys a little bit more about this code, though, because, you know, I love the fact that NYRA Bets, obviously but this is the facts. I mean, every other ADW, if you sign up and they give you money, like say they give you $30 or 25, you have to bet it all in one bet. Every other ADW, but with us, you can literally use the money however you want, and I like that. So just wanted to say.
No, absolutely. And listen, let people know that you're watching here, and the best way to do it, like I said, if you have not signed up yet with NYRA Bets, use the promo code LIVE25. Use that promo code, you'll get a free $25 bet and up to a $200 deposit match bonus. So make sure to use that promo code today, and we'll leave that little scrolling at the bottom for everybody. But listen, let's start by talking a little bit about the Juvenile Turf Sprint. And this is a doozy of a race because you got Aiden O'Brien with True Love. We got to see Aiden's Army a little bit today.
Yeah, we did.
And that's pretty cool
that
when he trots
really
out
cool.
like
it was
all
my
14.
First time I've ever seen that.
It's
really
impressive.
Cool.
It's very cool. The line in winter leads them all out. You see Precise in there, and you see Stad, and True Love is another one that's there. And this is one who's a filly, but has run up against the boys and beat the boys in the Railway Stakes 2 back at Curragh, and but does not have Ryan Moore up, has William Lorden up, and a very nice horse. But we both are trying to beat this one a little bit.
Yeah, we are. I mean, I'm not trying to beat a lot of Aiden O'Brien's horses on the turf, and you guys will see that a little later. But I do really like Schwarzenegger here. I think that he's a really good horse. He impressed me a lot last time out. We saw him at Keeneland. I mean, he's just built like a legit bullet. I know his figures are a little light, 77. It's a little bit of a concern, but the horse is fast as can be, and I think that those figures will improve when he's able to fully let go going 5 furlongs.
Well, that's the thing. He doesn't even worry about.
Him here.
That's a good point because he doesn't have to worry about getting 5.5.
No,
because he barely can get 5.5. Yeah,
and there's no speed to his outside.
No,
and this horse I think can get the exact position he wants. And Wesley Ward has, I mean, just a very impressive record in this race. He won it the most amount of times ever, and this horse looks really good. And I like what I see from him physically. And on the track.
Listen, he's a really good horse. I like the number 10 Sci-Fair. I think that's a really interesting horse for George Weaver, coming off a win in the Algonquin against the boys up at Woodbine. And I like the fact that Woodbine number backed up what we saw previously at Saratoga. Ran an 82 buyer both times out. Does pick up Irad Ortiz Jr. Interestingly enough, Johnny Velasquez rode the Sci-Fair a couple of times, and Johnny stays on Schwarzenegger, your horse. Irad, but I don't think picking up Irad's a bad thing. No. That's not a bad consolation prize. Picking up Irad Ortiz there. This horse can come from off the pace, can also sit a very close trip as well, so can kind of play the break, gives Irad a few different options, has been training well leading up to this. Miller is, George Weaver, I should say, so good in these turf sprints, just like Wesley Ward is. And then I thought Lenny Lou for Patrick Biancone it's a fun story. Obviously, Andy Biancone of FanDuel has, really helped show this horse to the world a lot more. But listen, she's a gutsy little filly because she went all the way over to Royal Ascot. She ran third in a 23 horse field, and you don't do that if you don't have talent.
No.
So she's a legit horse, and that last 85 buyer speed figure certainly would indicate she's more than fast enough to win this race.
Yeah, definitely. And I really like the fact that she went overseas and she came back, and she not only stayed in good form, but she actually got better.
Yeah.
So
yeah, absolutely. And you're also a little interested in the number 1 Brussels, an Aiden O'Brien horse.
Yeah, it's Aiden O'Brien with, I guess, his go-to guy right now.
Yeah, with Ryan Moore on the bench. Yeah, Christophe Similion is the go-to guy now.
And I really think that this horse is going to like true firm turf.
Yes.
And I think that that's why they have this horse coming over here. His highest figures came in races where the ground had less given it. Yeah. So I'd imagine that he's really going to take to firm turf out here. And he's 8-1 on the morning line. So pretty good price. And has been running in nothing but graded stakes races for the last few, and it's been very competitive. By
the way, we got to give a shout out to our guy, Dave. David Zanini is watching from 29,000 feet Delta to Atlanta to San Diego. Shout out to David, who is by far and away our highest viewer right
You
now.
must have really good Wi-Fi on that flight.
He bought you got better Wi-Fi than you did.
Yeah.
Got on the
I couldn't get on Racing Post.
I know. Somebody downloaded the PPs ahead of time. This guy. I never trust
had
Wi-Fi.
DRF.
No, you did. You had DRF. You're all right. But David, thank you so much for tuning in, man. Really appreciate it. And hope you have a safe flight, and hope you also, obviously, when you land in San Diego, you were able to expeditiously get to your gate, unlike what the two of us had to deal with yesterday, but that's all right. But yeah, listen, any thoughts on Havana Anna? A really nice horse for Donica O'Brien. Who I think you and I both took a long look at as a potential win bet. And so I thought Havana Anna made a lot of sense at 6-1 if you wanted to go that direction, and will be included on my late pick 5 ticket.
Definitely. I don't know if I'm going to put this one on my ticket, but definitely would throw her in, some tries and supers for sure.
I think that one's pretty dangerous. And came up second in True Love, lost to Afjan, who's a very, very nice filly as well. I should say a colt last time, or two back, and that was over soft ground. So I think this one, again, getting over a firm turf, I think could really take a step forward. I like Havana Anna quite a bit.
Tough company.
Exactly. It's been very tough company. So I like that horse quite a bit there. Well, that's very nice. Armando Garcia saying you guys are the best. Thank you so much. Armando, thank you so much. You're the best for tuning in and watching. Appreciate it. But listen, let's move on to a race that you and I both think you could spend an hour and a half talking about, which is the juvenile fillies. And you ultimately landed on Explora for Bob Baffert. But he's got Jill's horse in this race too. Battle of Rouge.
He does.
Bottle of Rouge, I should say. Iron Orchard, who I really like a lot, who looked a picture today. You got a horse like Meaning at 15-1, who that horse is serious, I have a feeling. Percy's Bar and Tommy Joe, we saw in person down at Keeneland. They're talented horses. Super Corridera, that's a nice horse for John Sadler, who's improving. Lawali's a horse that can come from off the base. I mean, this horse, this race has, you could make a lot of cases for horses in this race.
Definitely. And the two horses that I'm keying in on and focusing on are Iron Orchard and Explora, for sure. I think those are your two main players in here. And Iron Orchard definitely presents some value on the morning line at 6-1. I mean, it's all going to come down to the prices that they are come post time, who I physically place my win bet on. I think Explora is a pretty likely winner. She fits the profile. I mean, the pedigree's there, Blame out of a Bernardini mare.
Sure.
And it's interesting, I was talking to someone at Danny's barn that was saying that they really like this filly in the sale. That's pretty much the only filly that they have to keep their eye on, because this is pretty much your main player for Bob Baffert. But I will say Iron Orchard is really impressive. And I actually really like the fact that she draws the one hole, because, she breaks beautifully. She's never had an issue out of the gate. She literally breaks perfectly every single time. And she has Joel Rosario aboard, who's obviously a great jockey and has won this race more than anyone. And I think she can set a really nice trip. Rating right up the pace. Obviously, they're going to go. That's right. They're going to go. But
if somebody wants to cross in front, then it's not the end of the world, and she can move out.
And if they want to go fast up front, Danny said, let them, because she can rate. I really like her versatility, but
I do
those
too.
two for me.
I do too. Yeah, Iron Orchard. I'm going with her for the value parlay as my top pick. And Danny said something interesting in that Frizette. The plan was to sit second or third, maybe, because they knew they drew to the outside of the main controlling speed. But there was a horse that kind of came up on her outside and really tried to cross over, and she kind of shied back a little bit. She ended up sitting a lot further back than he wanted. He was like, I didn't like that. But then she got up there.
I saw a lot of commentary, about how she turned her head like this to the side going down the stretch, and how she didn't like the kickback. I mean, this was this filly's first time rating.
Taking
and she
kickback.
handled it really well.
She did.
And she got the job done.
And that's something else we should let the people know is today we had a chance to walk over the actual surface at Del Mar. How different is that from Aqueduct and Saratoga? It's quite a bit. This is the consistency of
it's very
main track.
light.
It's very light. It's a very different type of surface. And I'd imagine, and we've seen some horses really like it. Fierceness, Sierra Leone. Some horses really like it. And one of those comes from off the pace. They don't mind the kickback. Others, maybe not as much. I mean, I remember like poor city of Troy last year with his eyes closed when that
he
poor
was
horse.
the turf horse.
Yeah, but even journalism earlier this year in the Pacific Classic. I mean, there were some pictures of him in the early going, just not really liking
he
it
was
either.
placed in the line of fire.
Oh, Jesus, don't even get me started on that. Otherwise, this YouTube video will get taken down. But listen, a tough race because, a horse like Meaning, I think, is a really interesting horse. And we heard the ownership group talk about how they were kind of a week off from being able to put this horse into the Oak Leaf and just didn't work out, but they have so much faith that they put her in the spot. I mean, you don't put a horse like this in for nothing. I mean,
you don't tracks Jose.
Yeah, tracks Jose Ortiz. So I don't know. And then we got to talk about the Keeneland duo, Percy's Bar, Tommy Joe. You have a Tommy Joe Breeders' Cup hat. Not a lot of people have that. You have one, but Tommy Joe, the Bloomwood kind of came off the rose a little bit in that effort, and just that you question the 2 turns now and the distance a little bit.
Yeah, and with Ted Noffey, the boy, I don't question it whatsoever.
No, I don't either.
That horse wants every bit of 2 turns.
Yeah.
Tommy Joe, I mean, I would have loved, for her to be my pick here. Like you said, I really liked her from the start, but I can't endorse her after that last start at Keeneland. I mean, she literally chased Percy's Bar in second. And the more I watch that replay over and over again, it doesn't matter how bad she was fouled or hit going down the stretch. She literally was never catching Percy's Bar.
No.
And if she was having a hard time chasing Percy's Bar and was never able to get up to her around a fast track, speed favoring track, Keeneland, imagine here at Del Mar, speed favoring track with Bob Baffert and
Iron
a couple
Orchard
of other speed horses. I mean,
I think that had better release speed than Percy's Bar. Yeah, I agree with you, and aren't going to back up. And so it's a little bit hard to endorse. A horse that I do like, if you want to look at a horse coming from off the pace, I am a little interested in the number 9, Lawali, a 10-1 from Mark Glatt. This is one that's been ascending every single time out. It has only that maiden victory, but has shown the ability to close from off the pace, has handled it going 2 turns. I won over the track at Del Mar. It's getting faster each time out. Constitution out of a gemologist mare, should be able to handle the distance again, has done it before. So definitely like that one. But listen, let's move to the juvenile turf fillies real quick, and we can talk about that race because that one was impressive. Because we got Precise in here, who is the Aiden O'Brien monster, and drew the 13 post, but you and I both don't think it really matters that much.
No, I don't. I really don't. She towers over this field. I mean, if you compare them all on time form, etc., any speed figure you look at, anything, she towers over the field. So honestly, I just went with her and didn't think too hard about that.
Yeah, same here. And listen, let us know in the comments, who's your single on Juvenile Friday? If you're playing that late pick 5, who are you singling, to keep that ticket maybe to $54, $48? Who are you going to single? Because I think Precise for a lot of people is the single. Probably going to end up being the single for me, I would imagine. By the way, we got to put together some tickets tomorrow for social media.
Definitely.
We got to think. I got to remember that. We got to do that. We got to send it to our good friend Brittany Mesa and let her know who we're doing so she can get the graphics put together for us. But listen, if you're just tuning in now, make sure to use the promo code LIVE25. If you use that promo code right now, you can get a free $25 bet and up to a $200 deposit match bonus on NYRA Bets. So if you've not yet played on NYRA Bets, make sure to use that promo code LIVE25 right now. Carlos says he's going to try to beat her with Final Accord. And listen, that's a horse that, for Mark Cassie, who is coming off back-to-back wins, is stretching out, but wore a will out of Blame Mare. You talk about a nice pedigree there, certainly for the turf. And, again,
this horse is
definitely capable in the hands of Jose Ortiz.
100%. This horse is in my top 4. I know that for a fact when I wrote down originally, but I also was looking at the number 4 at like crazy odds. 20 to
you like
1.
it for this guy,
20 to 1. This horse is, steady progressing horse, but placed in a grade 2 last time out at Keeneland. Ran second to Imagination the Lady, and then also beat Time to Dream, who's literally, I think, what's the price? 5 to 1 in this field. So if you think about it, this horse has every right to run into something and comes from a really classy family as well.
Yes. And, Brad Cox, Flavian Pratt, not a bad duo to trust in on a big day.
And then another one I saw that I just noted out of that race, I don't know, I have to look at her profile herself, but just physically, I was impressed by Brave Deb. I think she's
we saw her right when we got here this morning.
Yeah, she looked pretty good.
Yeah, man, Richard Mandela. Hey, Richard Mandela's knows how to win some Breeders' Cup races in Southern California. So yeah, and that's another spendthrift.
20-1.
Yeah, there you go. So that's a couple of big prices for you. I'm a little bit interested in the number 1 Ultimate Love at 8-1 for Michael Trombetta, undefeated filly, stepping up out of that Mid-Atlantic circuit at Colonial and Laurel. But I just think might get the right sort of trip with Johnny Velasquez aboard. Let's go to the juvenile, and this is you and I disagree a little bit on that, and that we got. You are Team Brandt, and I am Team Ted Noffey. And there's just no two ways to go about it.
I love Ted Noffey, though.
Well, if you love him so much, pick him.
I can at 4-5. I can at 4-5 in a race that's like historically won by
Bob Baffert speed horses.
Big prices too. Like I just
that's true, because you're right. Fierceness was a big price when he won this race 2 years ago, and then last year Citizen Bull was a big price when he won this race. Bob even brought that up. Yeah, 15-1.
Yeah, and Brandt looks pretty good here. I mean, I know stretching out, obviously, and you look at the speed figures and the horse regressed a bit, stretching out to 7 furlongs. But also, I mean, the horse has the pedigree to stretch out to a
runner out of
16th, 100%. It's really encouraging that Flavien Prat stays aboard as well. Sure. And Bob said that the horse is doing really well and is working really well up into the 2-turn test, and that, you know, he thinks he can handle it. You just never really know until they do it. We know Ted Noffey can get it. So, you know, I have no knock on that pick.
4-5 is a short price to swallow on any sort of a juvenile, particularly in a Breeders' Cup race. So there's no two ways about that.
Big prices in here that are pretty interesting.
There are. You really like Litmus Test. Speak to that, because this is a horse that has gotten better every single start. You love the way he was built. And I remember I even said to you, I go, God, that horse is huge. Because he was just physically just bigger than a lot of the other horses. And he should, a Nyquist out of a Malibu and Moon Mary, and who cost $875,000 as a yearling, should have very much so appreciate going longer, but just got tired that first time. Bob said something to you today that was interesting. That he goes, he's not really the need the lead type, and he didn't necessarily want to be on the lead.
So he just kind of inherited the lead there.
That's a little interesting.
Certainly, I mean, and you can kind of tell that he inherited the lead. Look at the fractions.
Look at the fractions, and you're absolutely right.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting because
now Brandt, you figure, is going to go to the lead out of his pair. Okay, so now Brandt goes to the lead. Now Litmus Test just tracks off of that. And Litmus Test has the experience, at least, of doing 2 turns already.
Oh, yeah.
Builds up that foundation.
Every bit like he wants 2 turns.
And
you look at the pedigree, certainly matches. And I really like the fact that this horse is running here after Bob sent him to Keeneland and saw his first 2-turn test. He really liked what he saw there. The horse is progressing really steadily, which I really like. And I think he's a horse that, like, hand on my heart, will absolutely outrun their odds tomorrow.
That's I mean, listen, he's one of, he might be actually, I guess, outside of Comport and Mr. AP, is the next biggest price in the board.
That's crazy.
Because Civil Liberty is scratching the Doug O'Neill horse. But I'm interested in Intrepido for Jeff Mullins, the horse that won the American Pharaoh, a horse that beat a horse that we both really like, which is Desert Gate, which is another Bob Baffert horse who we both would have potentially been on in this race if he had run. But he beat Desert Gate that day in the American Pharaoh. I thought was really impressive. Has already won going a mile over this course at Del Mar. Has gotten faster every single start. Does come from off the pace a little bit more. You do worry about maybe how far back he is going to sit early on in the race, especially from that inside rail. Hector Berrios has to get him positioned in a good spot going to 2 turns. That debut effort where he lost to Brandt and Civil Liberty, I think you could draw a line through, because he basically walked out of the gate and just got off a step slow. And it was also 5.5. And that's clearly not his game. And so he's a horse. Watch that last furlong of the American Pharaoh. He puts on a spurt there at the end and just tracks everybody down. 8-1, he's a little interesting. And if you think a horse, even if you think this race is going to be dominated up front, he's a horse that could end up passing for you late to run up into that trifecta sort of a thing.
Absolutely. And really any horse here coming out to their backyard is dangerous.
Yes. Don't you know, that is the truth for sure. Listen, it is, Carlos, we'll see if Brandt wins wire to wire. I mean, it's going to be how he does it, right? I mean, he's not rating. Bob's not going to have him rate going 2 turns the first time. I mean, that horse has the speed.
Yeah, he's going to go. Yeah. That's what I'd imagine.
Just a matter
100%.
of, It's just a matter of going.
And he can clear Ted Nafi. That's, I mean,
well, yeah. Well, Ted Nafi said he's outside. Yeah.
But what I'm saying is Ted Nafi can't.
Yeah.
Clear him.
But Robert T. Brings up something that I said on Capping the Card, that you and I are wanted by the Saratoga PD because it was criminal that we got 7-2 on Ted Nafi and the Hopeful. We both touted that horse.
Yeah.
We both said, hey, Ted Nafi. Nobody listened to us.
Yeah.
They were on Flying Hawaiian or some other horse. I don't even know who they were on that day. But
really, high on Ted Nafi. I still am.
I don't know how you got 7-2 on that horse.
I don't know how. It was like the best day. As soon as I saw the horse in the paddock, he physically looks like he can get 2 turns. I mean, at that price, I was all over. At 4 to 5, I think it's that we got him at such a good price that now I'm like,
and we got to
swallow 4 to 5.
And we got him at 9-2 or 5-1 in debut. I mean, and he was a couple to enter the Brad Cox horse. It's nuts. So yeah, Butane. That's a horse that we got to see a couple of times up in. We saw that horse up in Saratoga, and yeah, that way. Robert, to your point, that is a big reason as to why. Yes, I was joking about Flying Hawaiian, but yes, that was a big reason as to why Ted Nafi was the price that he was that day. It was because Baffert had shipped the Butane up there, and that horse had gotten a lot. So absolutely there. Listen, let's go to the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf as the last race that we'll talk about. We got to see that was actually the first horse we saw today.
We did. Maybe that's a sign.
Here's Johnny.
But I'm not on him.
Do you know what that reference is to? So you're so much younger and I'm so much older. The Late Night Show with Johnny Carson. Here's Johnny. Ed McMahon used to introduce Johnny Carson like that. All right. I'm going to go back to being old and just talk about this race. But we also saw a guy, I don't know if he's watching right now because I know he watches over stuff. We saw a guy early this morning who came over and said hi to us. He likes outfielder. That's
all over. He's like 100% this horse.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see it, but but it's a
Wesley Ward
interesting.
Horse,
I mean, I like hearing what everyone thinks. At crazy prices, I'll at least get the second, third look. 100%.
Absolutely. Now this race, you got Stad on the far outside, drawing the 14 post for Aiden O'Brien, and Stad is listen. He nearly has won 3 grade ones, group ones over in Europe. And if he had won those and came over here, he'd be 2 to 5 at this point.
And that's why I like him at 9-5.
Yeah. And so he's your top pick. He's stretching out. You think he's good enough to get the job done, regardless of that 14 post.
Yeah, I do. And I think it's another one that I think ran well over firmer turf. Anyone that he caught with less give, he ran better over.
Yeah,
if you look at the figures. Yeah. And he's another one that I think could really wake up with the turf course here, and was pretty good against really tough competition over in Europe, and just fits that profile. And Aiden O'Brien, I think, has won this race 7 times. It's been run 18 times. Yeah. So I'd imagine his horse is going to be dangerous.
Yes, his horse are very dangerous. I'm going to try to beat him with Argos for Riley Mott. I like this horse a lot. He won the summer stakes up at Woodbine. And, we were talking to our friend Barry Spears, who said he doesn't always trust the numbers coming out of Woodbine. And I don't disagree with Barry in that regard. But this is a horse that had a really tough trip last time out. He really likes this horse, though, when we were talking to him. Now, keeps Flavian Pratt up on the mount and broke from the inside, had a tight trip early, had to angle out super wide, and had tons of give in the stretch. I mean, he just flew down the stretch. I don't know. At 6 to 1, I'm going to mess around with this horse. I'm interested in it.
I can't blame you at all. He looks really good on paper. I'm definitely going to use him, in some way tomorrow for sure. 100%.
Yeah.
And that race this summer, I didn't look up. I want to look this up. Maybe I'll post it later. But that race, I think all the horses that come out of that race typically run. I'm not saying they win, but I think they run well in these spots.
It does tend to be a productive race. And listen, there's a lot of talented horses in this field. And a lot of the talent is to the outside, but you have Ben Colebrook's horse, Street Beast, who's a nice runner. But one thing I will say is I shared the stat last night on Capping the Card. And by the way, Carlos was all over G-Stod, or Stod, I should say. I kept calling him G-Stod. And it is going to be interesting to see. Do you want to pull up a different?
I don't know. I'm just reading the comments.
She loves to read the comments. By the way, if you guys don't think when you guys comment on YouTube, this one, she reads every single comment. She loves it. And so please know that somebody is reading your comments on YouTube all the time. It's Kaylie.
You are heard.
You are heard. Yes, very much. You are heard. And by the way, press that like and subscribe button if you have not yet done that on NYRA Bets YouTube. We're going to have live streams tomorrow. We're also going to have a live stream Saturday after the races. So we're going to do live reactions for these live streams tomorrow after the juvenile day, talking a little bit more about Saturday. And then obviously Saturday we'll react to the classic afterwards, and we'll do that. So that's going to be a lot of fun as well. One thing that I will say about the Stad and, trying to beat him a little bit, I do think the horse right next to him, Hey Nay Nay, you and I both think is pretty interesting. This horse has a ton of speed. I expect this horse to get out up on the front end, and was able to pass the 2-turn test last time out in the Del Mar Juvenile Turf. Went over the track. Joel Rosario now comes up, and while Joel's a great closer, he's also great up on the front end. So I don't know. I think this one can cross and clear a lot of horses and maybe try to set the pace up front.
Same track, same distance.
Yeah.
This horse is undefeated.
Yeah.
Definitely. This is my value play here. I think we both picked this horse on tapping the card last night, undefeated in his own backyard, always dangerous. And, I love that last race for sure. Yeah.
Last race was very good. And it's also notable. John Sadler sent this.
Rosario.
Yeah. You can't beat Joel, but John Sadler sent this horse across the country. This is a West Coast horse. Sent the horse from Santa Anita to Monmouth. To run in a turf sprint and then back here. It's really interesting. You don't see Sadler do that very often. So, very interesting stuff here. Listen, that's kind of some of our thoughts on this late pick 5 sequence. I think I'm singling in Precise, and then I'm really spreading in that juvenile turf sprint. I'm really going to spread in that juvenile fillies as well. So the first 2 legs, I'm not getting knocked out those first 2 legs. And if Precise can hold it together, then I think I don't have to go I think I can go Brant, Ted Nafi, and just to kind of, be secure. And then I maybe go Stad, Argos, and maybe 1 or 2 others in that last leg. I'm already thinking about how I'm putting this together and keeping it under, $54 or thereabouts. But
I think I'm going to put litmus test on my ticket. Just, I think it's a bomb hanging there.
Sure.
That if anything happens, I think he could show up. So
absolutely.
Maybe where we differ a tiny bit.
No, absolutely. And Craig, by the way, wanted to give this one a shout out. Craig said, looks like Journalism was given the classic. He was second best to Sovereignty. Now he'll shine. Listen, I understand Craig's logic, which is to say, and I know you don't necessarily agree, but to say Sovereignty was so, everybody loves Sovereignty. You love Sovereignty in this race. He was my top pick as well. Journalism's the horse that was second to him every time. So yes, the gap between the two of those might be a little bit substantive, but Journalism's now picking up. I think he's getting a jockey upgrade. Whether that makes a difference or not, we'll see. But I think he's getting a jockey upgrade. I just don't know what, man, I wish I could see what position he sits in going in the first turn, because that would tell me a lot about whether I think he has an even chance to be competitive in this field.
I wish I knew too. And I can't knock the logic whatsoever. I mean, he ran second to a great horse all year, and Journalism is a great horse himself. I mean, he shows up every
3-time Grade 1 winner.
But I mean, he also was second best to Fierceness, and now he's going to face older. He's going to face Sierra Leone. He's going to face Forever Young, and those horses were competitive against Fierceness, and Fierceness beat Journalism. So it's a really tall I mean, for any of these horses, obviously winning the classic is a huge accomplishment. But with these horses, it's like you really beat the best besides Sovereignty, obviously. But it's still like
it's gonna be a very difficult race.
It makes the horse of the year conversation really interesting as well.
It will be. And by the way, I saw somebody the other day just say, give it to Rebels Romance if he wins the turf. And by the way, I don't completely disagree, because technically you only have to run in North America once to be considered for any of these awards. Rebels Romance, he's the coolest horse in training right now.
I love the horse, but
right or wrong, Nick Zito.
I love that horse so much, but
all right. I'm just saying. Maybe give it to Bookham Dano in that case, but no, Bookham Dano's sadly not here in the Breeders' Cup, so that's unfortunate. But
I think if Journalism wins tomorrow, which I don't believe he will.
Or Saturday, yeah.
Yeah, Saturday. Sorry. If he wins, he still won't be horse of the year.
No, I don't think. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It's going to be
But I
interesting
like
to see
him,
the horse
though.
of the year. And yeah, in terms of the jockey change is to Jose Ortiz, not Irad. So Irad is riding Mindframe. He's going to remain on. Jose is taking over for Umberto Rispoli on journalism. Interestingly enough, you and I both talked about this. Jose and Irad share the most Breeders' Cup wins at Del Mar. 4. They each have 4 apiece. The other 2, you know it. Do you remember? Joel Rosario and William Buick.
Yeah.
Billy Buck, as I like to call him when he comes to New York. But and Chucky Apples. That's Charlie Appleby. But listen, so you get an upgrade to somebody like Jose Ortiz. He knows how to win here.
Oh, yeah.
He knows how to win. He won. Remember, he won with Pizza Bianca. He gave Christophe Clement his first Breeders' Cup win.
Yeah.
On that incredible ride. I'll never forget. That was the one time I loved the jockey. You love the jockey cam. I don't love the jockey cam. But that's the one time the jockey cam footage. I'll never forget Pizza Bianca's trip. It was like the Red Sea parted all of a sudden. And boom! And he just shot right through there.
You don't like the jockey cam?
Jockey cam's overrated. I don't like it.
But like,
I don't like it.
You just don't like it.
No, I don't like it.
That's
I don't have to like things. I don't like the jockey cam. And so it just it's bumping up and down, up and down. You can't see the horse 3/4 of the time. I don't know what I'm looking at. It's like then they put the jockey cam on like fierceness. What am I going to see? Just the track in front of him. What the hell? I mean, I'm not even seeing anything else. At least put it on Flavian with Sierra Leone. Okay, I get to see him pass everybody.
Oh,
That's interesting.
Yeah,
Don't put it on that. Come on, stop it.
Who are you most excited to see tomorrow?
Who I'm most excited to see tomorrow? Probably Precise.
Yeah.
Just like last year, I was so excited to see Lake Victoria, and she delivered.
Mm-hmm.
And so Precise, I'm really excited to see. You and I have had the luxury of seeing Ted Nafi before. It'll be nice to see him again. I do look forward to seeing Brant in person. I'm a little interested to see him in person. We were by Bob's Barn, but I didn't get a chance to see him.
I was like peeking my head. I was like,
you were looking for Noonie. That's what you were doing. You're looking for Noonie. Where's Noonie?
I was looking for Chip Reel.
Yeah, don't even get me started on all of that. Which horse are you most looking forward to tomorrow?
I think you cover definitely Precise. I'd say, and Brant. I'm looking forward to seeing. Yeah. I have never seen Brant.
Yeah.
Litmus Test. I love seeing him in person.
Yeah.
I want to see how he looks after taking the trip back here. Maybe
I
didn't get a chance to see a lot of them. Bob's horses.
Yeah.
On the track today.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Yeah, I mean, interested in hearing what your thoughts are. And it's going to be, like I said, a lot of fun to see all of this. But listen, another thing that's fun is free money. And if you use the promo code LIVE25, you will get a free $25 bet and up to a $200 deposit match bonus. So if you're not playing yet on NYRA Bets, use the promo code LIVE25 today.
And bet on your favorite long shots.
Exactly.
$5 on 5 of them.
Go nuts.
With this code.
Go nuts.
That's a pretty good promo.
It is. It's a great promo. People should sign up and play on NYRA Bets. And by the way, if you already are playing on NYRA Bets, we got a bunch of great promotions across the board. We got some money back guarantees. We're going to have some hit and splits. We got a lot of great promotions for people who are already playing. So make sure to opt in and play all of those on Friday and Saturday. We're going to be back with another live stream tomorrow night. We also have Capping the Card, which we have to get back to the hotel and do Capping the Card. That's going to drop tomorrow morning, where we cover all 9 Breeders' Cup races. We're going to give everybody our top pick and our top value play in every single one. That's not bad. That's pretty good.
No,
that's
very
pretty good.
excited.
You show me who else is doing that. Nobody else.
Can't wait for the next 2 days for sure, and we'll be back tomorrow night.
It's going to be so much fun. I can't wait. Tomorrow night, I'm going to be counting my Ted Nafi money. I might have to bring Ned Coffee in.
After you get 4 to 5?
After I get, no, I'm going to use them in my pick 5. I'm going to hit my pick 5 with Ted Nafi. That's how. I love me some Ted Nafi. And I need to look to see if there's any Rock Your Worlds running tomorrow. That's the other thing. I need to see Rock Your Worlds. Are there any Rock Your Worlds? I know. I need to look up how that one did.
You start running. We get here and we're like going to do trainer interviews. And I'm like, let's check the map. I want to see. Monty's like, there's a Rock Your World running today.
I have priorities, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, when you like a sire, you go with it.
And you were right.
Well, let's not take a victory lap. But yeah, he has a great one. He's a graded stakes winner, though. That's for sure.
Being serious.
I know you are.
Really
No, I know. Let's not get too carried away, though. Listen, it's a lot of fun. We got a lot of great content on NYRA Bets YouTube, so make sure to go check it all out. Carlos, we wish you were here with you. Absolutely. You know, if you're here, maybe we can get you an extra pass. I don't know. I don't want to make promises. But we wish you were here. Robert, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Do we get to go to all the Triple Crown races? No. Because they want us in New York.
I've never been to the Kentucky Derby.
That's outrageous. That's outrageous. I've been once.
Ever in my life.
Yeah, I act like that's a big deal. I was once there the year Animal Kingdom won for Grand Motion.
Wow.
I barely remember seeing the race. But yeah, so like I said, we'll be back tomorrow night with another live stream. Saturday night with the live stream. We got Capping the Card coming tomorrow morning. So again, press that like and subscribe button on NYRA Bets YouTube. And remember to use the promo code CUP25 or Live25. You can use CUP25 too, but Live25 and get that free $25 bet up to a $200 deposit match bonus. All right, folks, we're going to be signing off here, but appreciate everybody tuning in and good luck with all your bets. For Kaylie Shapiro, my name is Matthew DeSantis, wishing you a great, profitable day at the races. And reminding you, friends, it's now post time.